Hey guys, you join me here, Snowman86, and we are back on Ballyspring. So, first job of the day is to pop out to the far field of, not the furthest away field, but the far field of the tree, we'll say, the very left one. So we're going to not drive across our fields that we've slurried. We're going to take the slightly longer route on the road, and we got to do a little bit of soil sampling, guys. So, we went to spread slurry on it, and we got no updated feed on what our nitrogen level was in our field and stuff, so we discovered that way that yeah, we are due a soil sampling session. So it's only one field, so it's going to be pretty quick, pretty fast. There's not a whole pile to it. I think this is my turn, so we're just going to whip up here, and the gate on the far side here should be open, so we can jump in. You can probably see a line and a bit of slurry that we were spreading until I realised, hang on a second, nothing's happening. So we get in here, not this gate, next gate. In fact, you can probably see the different textures there. A little bit of a slide as we stepped hard on the brake. So we'll have to bring up our HUD for this, and hopefully this will all work out if I unfold. It should. So we're just going to drive in a couple of spots, press our activate button. Somewhere there, probably for the first one. So we're just going to grab a few. There's probably good for another one. And we're just going to keep going till we kind of capture the whole field. It'll probably take a couple of samples. We'll get them sent off, and that way then we'll be able to get back here and, all going well, finish our spreading of slurry on this field, because this is the only field that hasn't been not affected, but hasn't been fully spread. So we just want to make sure we get it all, and I can probably do something like this. And one more. So I should see that taken care of. We can then send soil samples to the thing. We can fold up our soil sampler, and we can get back to the farm, guys. And hopefully by the time we get back to the farm, this field will be pretty, we'll get some bit of a knowledge on it. I think even we might have just gotten it. I must still a few settings to change from the big reset, but look, we're slowly getting there. And that course play thing needs to disappear, and I think that's in the main settings, so we'll do that in a bit. But yeah, so we still have a little bit of slurry spray, guys. So we're going to shoot on. Oh, man just got trampled. We're going to shoot on and get that done, and yeah, we'll be back here probably the next day to, all go well, go flat lifting. So we'll have a few silage bales to sell. We'll have a nice milk should start kind of pumping again, and at some stage we'll have to do a bit of an animal sell, because yeah, they're just consuming our pastures way quicker than we can we grow it. So yeah, we're just going to drive on and get that done. So we'll probably sell a couple of the older cows, definitely. They'll be worth a few thousand to us, so it'll all pay for itself eventually. But the soil sampling had to be done, guys. So we're just going to back this in here, and we should have a tank of slurry ready to go. So we'll hook up, we'll get it done, and as I say, we'll be back here towards the end of the, not the end of the day, but the start of the next day. All going well, we'll be ready to go flat lifting. So I'll see you in a second. And we are back, guys. So just quickly going to fill the Massey up here. She needs diesel, she needs DEF, so we're just going to get it filled up. On the back we have our subsoiler, so it's our grass subsoiler from the Maize Plus mod. So it doesn't actually create a plough texture, but it's more like a kind of a flat lift. It just breaks up that pan, and that's exactly what we're looking to do. So we're just going to pull down here in front of the other shed, grab our tank of DEF, and hopefully we'll be able to do this. Get in here with 49 liters here, so we'll just dump by the tractor, and if I jump in we are able to fill def. Now this is a slow process, so we're not going to waste too much of your time, guys. We're going to leave it here and we'll be back in a bit when we're in the field actually flat lifting. And we are back, guys. So before we get flat lifting, I did a quick check of our inventory as we were waiting for the def to fill, and realized we had wool to sell, and quite a lot of it. So you can see on the trailer we have about 10,000 liters of wool, so it's a pretty good thing, and the price is probably one of the highest we'll see. It's about 1,200 euros per 1,000 liters, so why not sell it? It'll be worth about 12,000 to us. It will top us up nicely to the 40k mark back in our bank. So that is just something we just got to do. So we're going to shoot down to the wool point, and if I remember rightly, the wool point is a bit of a jaunt, but worth doing. For 12 grand we will do it, and that frees up a bit of space again in the shed for storing more wool. So, and as the sheep keep multiplying, we're still at 181. They haven't produced more into the sheep and goats. So yeah, we're just churning out pretty hard and fast wool and goat milk. So it's a nice little profit maker for us. It took a while, about 3 years, for it to really kick in and start making a bit of money. But I would imagine if we kept it going another 3 years, the sheep and goats would be fairly profitable. Now they will take quite a bit of looking after at that stage, because potentially you're looking at 300 odd sheep, maybe 400 odd sheep. I don't know how many we can hold in our pen. Something we should check out, because obviously we don't want to get to the stage where overcrowding becomes a problem for us. And it shouldn't, if we can keep on top of selling the young males and getting rid of some of the older stock maybe next time around as well. And obviously the older stock are worth that little bit more. So nothing coming, we will whip out across the road, and we're on the road. We're on the main road, and we haven't been down here now in a while, guys. So nice to do it as well. Breaks it up, changes it up. So yeah, we're turning good money. We can't complain too much. I reckon if we were able to sell our silage bales, it's probably worth about maybe 15,000. That would be 55. And another day or two of milk at 10,000 euros a day per milk, and you won't be long before we're looking at purchasing more land, and it'll probably be arable land, to be brutally honest. I think we're good for grass. We seem to be able to produce it anyway. 90 bales off a first cut has kind of eased my concerns about us needing to pick up more grassland. The fact we get 4 cuts, even if we average it at 80 bales, 4 cuts is quite something. So that would be, what's that, 320 bales a year roughly, and probably a little bit more. So I think we'll be okay short term for our grass stuff. One thing I could look into is actually starting to do a TMR mix. We might be at that stage. We just need to find a tether. I think the tether is the one big thing we do not currently own. A lot of weight here on 10,000 litres of wool. A tether is one thing we currently don't own that we would need for the making of TMR. And obviously, to do it right, we probably should do some form of either beet or potatoes, as beet or potatoes would give us that kind of a mixing power food, I want to call it. Is it a power food or a moisture food for the animals that they do require? So yeah, it is something to think about. I'm sure this is the wool spot. I think it's the wool spot. I don't know where the sell point is. I keep forgetting. So because I'm a little bit unsure, we're going to just quickly, there it is, turn on our interactive markers, and can we get in here? Oh, there we go. So we just need to pull forward just a little bit more, and that is all of our wool sold off. So we'll get rid of the interactive markers again. We'll pull out here, do a quick UE, and we'll be back on the road to the farm where we're flat lifting, guys. So that was worth doing, up to 41,000. As I say, if we can, another milk day will take us into 50. Silage should be 15, that's 65. We're getting pretty close then to looking around at fields again, arable fields in particular. If we get that big one off the main pasture we use, I would like that. That is probably one of the ones, and that grass field then in front of the house as well. That will kind of complete the circle land around the farm, and it will give us a nice base then going forward. So yeah, in fact, will we have a sneaky look? We'll do it last week. So with that said, I'm going to bait on back to the farm, guys, get this trailer off, get the flat lifter back on, and I will be out in the field shortly actually flat lifting. And we are back. So flat lifting, guys, nothing to it, well, nothing much to it. It's just a case of driving around, doing our thing. So we're going to whip around the headlands. It can be pretty tricky to tell where you've been and where you need to be, so we're just going to not follow to a certain degree, or we're not going to follow our cut kind of line. We're going to do our own thing here. So we'll just drop in here, and we'll get going again. That should be our cruise control somewhat set. So yeah, it's just a case of whipping around here. We'll probably do 3 or 4 headlands, I would imagine, and then it's just ups and downs, and hopefully we don't miss a whole pile of the field. Yeah, it's a tricky enough field to begin. As I say, the elevation changes, the angle we're at just makes it a little bit tricky. That's a nice field. I think of field beans alongside us, so that might be one to have a little sneaky peek at some stage. It looks like a fairly large field of them as well. So hopefully we can make this turn. Don't recommend doing too many sharp turns with it in the ground. Pull a tine off that there, no time at all. So we're just going to bait on. We'll get this done. It's a slow process, but something needs to be done, so we're going to crack on, get it done. Probably should have done it when we first bought the field, but I think we were under pressure at the time with either our 3rd or 4th cut, and then we'd harvest, and then we'd have 4th cut, and then winter set in. So plenty of excuses as to why I didn't do it, but we're out here now and we're getting it done, so that's all we can ask for. I don't know how easy it is to spot what we've travelled over versus what we haven't. If I zoom out a bit, is it? It's kind of noticeable. There might be a slight texture change. As I say, not the easiest thing to tell where we've been, so we're going to do our best to get the entire field and get as close as we can here to the ditch lines. But yeah, it's going to be quite the challenge. But yeah, we'll bait on, we'll get it done. It's just going to take, as I say, a little bit of time. And I'm breaking my own rule now. No sharp turns, he said, as he takes the sharpest turn he possibly could. And I think where my left wheel is, I see a bit of a texture change in the ground, so we're going to just bait on down this line. It's hard to call, but yeah, we'll crack on, guys. We'll see how much of it we can get done. Little bit in it. After that, we'll be back, probably waiting on 2nd cut to grow, tend to our animals. We're okay for today in the pasture, but I think by that stage then genuinely they will have run out of food, so we'll be moving them into pasture 2. Hopefully we get a regrowth on the original pasture. If we can do that, we'll be standing pretty well then for being able to maintain our cattle with what we have. third pasture is probably a necessity at some stage down the line, but I do think another arable field would be nice, and that's a nice field of beans over there. So yeah, we'll have to see what's going on. I don't know what's actually planted in the fields below the house, so we'll have to check that out as well at some stage. Potentially options there as well. But yeah, we'll just see. We'll just see. There is, as I say, no real pressure on us, so we're just going to lift up again, change our direction. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, guys, as in terms of what we can actually see. But yeah, we're going to do our best. It's probably a wheel track is what I'm following, and that's probably a safe enough bet to tell us exactly where we are. So that's what we're going to do. So I haven't had much time to myself at the moment, so we haven't had too much of an opportunity to play with the Terra Life mod. I still am debating it in my head. Should we do it? It'll adds another layer of realism to the game that we've already tried to implement with the mods we currently have. As I say, it runs Maze Plus built in, it runs the enhanced animal built in, I think. It expands on the food or the feed for the animals, different types for different ages. There's four stages of animals, I think, from a baby, like a calf, to the next stage up to fully mature. I don't know what they're calling it, but yeah, there's plenty of options and feed types and different feed types for different stages of animals. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe they also have implemented different animations for the animals, so it just expands that whole range of the game. As I say, it adds different crop types. You can now do summer, winter wheats, barleys, there's a couple of different beans and stuff in it, so again, it's just a good enhancement. It does change the geo in the maps from what I've seen, so you get kind of shorter windows for your planting and harvesting seasons, so there is that to contend with as well, guys. But for the most part, it seems to be a fair push of the base game limits, which is what the modders, I do believe, kind of were aiming towards. We need to be out here. So I believe that's kind of the general idea of the mod, was to give it the base game kind of a max push, make it a little bit more realistic in terms of having to look after and care for animals and fields and stuff. So it does work with precision farming, or it is required that you have precision farming installed. So there's a lot of good things in that. Hopefully we'll see it again in FS25 and pretty soon, now that it's been released. I'm hoping it doesn't take too much to get it out there. Although it might, considering that they have changed the models for animals and stuff, that could take a bit of time to tweak and adjust for FS25, but look, we'll see. As I say, if I can get myself back on track here, we might start a series on it, but it could be a slow burner, and I don't know, do we just maybe not have the time? 2 months, I think, roughly till FS25, so just judging it off kind of my own timeline. Obviously, if we had a little bit more time, we probably have more time to be on and playing, and we could do something. But again, it's something I will play with off screen myself anyway, and if I can, we will do our best to try and bring a series on it, guys. So I think I need to be somewhere out here. So we're just going to do kind of wheel line by wheel line. It's a little bit slow, it's a little bit tedious, but look, we'll get there, guys. So we're going to bait on, we're going to get this done, and yeah, we'll see what the farm brings us in the next one. So I think it's probably a good enough place to leave it, guys. As always, I've been Snowman86, this has been Ballyspring, and if you like what you've seen, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Give it a big old thumbs up, it does mean a lot. And as always, if you want to follow along with the series, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button to get your notifications on when we release the next episode of Ballyspring. So until then, guys, as always, take care. We'll see you all again.